Melbury Capital is a private equity firm focused on thesis-driven, country-specific investment strategies in emerging and frontier markets. Founded in 2010 by Andrew Denenza and Jamie Rubin, the firm enjoys the backing of its anchor investor, the Rubin Brothers Group, as well as institutional investment from Arkham Capital, along with the support of its wider network of family offices and ultra-high net worth individuals. In 2011, after several years of careful research, Melbury identified a particularly attractive, underexploited and time-bound investment opportunity: the nascent gold sector in the frontier Central Asian nation of Mongolia. Due to unique geological conditions, Mongolian soil has always hosted a wealth of gold deposits. Evidence of primitive gold mining activities date back to the time of the region's earliest human settlements. In the early 20th century, Western capitalists attempted to enter this lucrative market. The Mongolore Mining Company, a Sino-French conglomerate, produced more than 15 tons of gold between 1900 and 1920, when it was forced to close due to civil strife and revolution. Mongolia functioned as a de facto Soviet satellite for the remainder of the 20th century. During this period, gold mining was strictly prohibited by the authorities. When the country finally opened up its economy and its borders in the 1990s, a minor gold rush began again, but it was soon crushed by prohibitive taxes and regulations. Only recently has the country come to appreciate the enormous opportunity its gold sector represents.
Even today, less than a quarter of Mongolia's landmass has been explored or mapped to any reasonable level of detail. Because of this lack of historical exploration and development, the deposits that are still present here tend to be higher grade than deposits in other jurisdictions. And as a result, the cash cost, which is the amount of expense you have to incur in order to remove 1 gram of gold or 1 ounce of gold, are much lower here than they would be in other countries. The local gold mining industry has not yet developed the technical and financial capacity it needs to take advantage of these rich deposits. And current levels of production remain extremely low when compared to other jurisdictions. This is extremely unusual for a gold-producing nation, and it presents a compelling investment opportunity for a firm like Melbury, which has the ability to leverage international levels of expertise and international levels of financing.
From a regulatory perspective, Mongolia is currently highly competitive. The restrictive policies of past governments have been abandoned, and the gold sector now enjoys a royalty rate of just 2.5%, the third lowest among major gold-producing nations. Mongolia thus is a low-cost jurisdiction across the board for acquisition, for development, and for production and sale. Moreover, at current production levels, Mongolia has sufficient registered reserves to produce gold for more than 160 years. This is an order of magnitude higher than established mining jurisdictions, indicating that there is enormous growth potential waiting to be unlocked. Once Melbury had identified an opportunity in the Mongolian gold space, the firm began searching for a pilot project that would allow it to leverage that space's obvious potential. The mineral resource boom years of the late 2000s and early 2010s had generated a speculative bubble in the price of local mineral licenses. The firm exercised restraint and resisted jumping on the bandwagon that eventually crashed, dragging many foreign investors down with it. Patience and discipline paid off in 2013, when the bubble had deflated and Melbury was finally able to obtain compelling terms on one of the properties it had identified as an ideal flagship project, the Tsagan Sahir Ul project. Tsagan Sahir Ul had been given the internal code name Project King because of its unparalleled economics fundamentals. A head of terms agreement for Project King was signed in 2013, and due diligence commenced shortly after. Melbury then signed a full joint venture agreement in 2014 and immediately began deploying capital. Later in 2014, capital-intensive development of the mine continued over the course of 2015. Melbury dug more than 1 kilometre of new tunnels, refurbished and dramatically expanded the old mining developments on Vein 1, and constructed a brand new, fully modernised processing plant. The camp and other site facilities were also reconstructed. At the same time, Melbury expanded its gold portfolio beyond Project King, acquiring rights to more than 24 additional highly prospective gold licenses via tenders, public auctions, and other routes. Melbury successfully obtained a cyanide usage license in April of 2016, becoming one of only 3 firms in the country to hold such a license. Obtaining a permit to use cyanide has been an achievement that truly sets Melbury apart from local gold players. This permit dramatically improves the recovery levels in the plant, fundamentally changing the project's economics and boosting the company's bottom line. Trial gold production via cyanide began in the latter half of 2016, and Melbury started generating steady cash flow shortly after. Project King had finally lived up to its royal moniker, and Melbury had demonstrated proof of its investment thesis, exhibiting that a skillful foreign investor could unlock value in Mongolia's burgeoning gold sector. In 2017, Melbury has moved beyond proof of concept and begun replicating its success on a larger scale. With the help of a new institutional investor, Arkham Capital, Melbury developed an exploration and development program for its wider portfolio of 26 gold mineral licenses, with the ultimate aim of boosting resources under control. The investment team also identified several brownfield gold M&A targets and negotiated initial heads of terms with a view to further boosting resources through attractively priced acquisitions. Project King itself was also directly expanded. The mining department added new personnel and new equipment in order to supply a larger and steadier stream of gold-rich ore to the processing plant. The decline on Vein 1, the project's primary producing vein, was extended down another level so that previously unexploited ore could be accessed. However, the formation of a new geological department and the implementation of a JORC-compliant drilling campaign has ultimately proven to be the most significant component of the Phase 1 expansion. Melbury has added internationally recognized South African geologist Richard Rice to the team as the lead for the JORC-compliant drilling campaign. Historical exploration, conducted by Russian, German and Japanese geologists over the course of the 20th century, had indicated that Project King hosted 55 gold-bearing quartz veins. Of these, Vein 1 and Vein 10 were thought to be the richest and the most likely to host significant amounts of economically exploitable gold reserves. Vein 1 has lived up to and even surpassed expectations, with new sources of ore being defined at multiple levels. With Vein 1 alone, Project King will be able to operate profitably for many years to come. However, the most exciting results from the drilling program carried out in 2017 came from the deeper levels of Vein 10. Melbury is now confident that the vein extends nearly 3 kilometers in length. This has been confirmed repeatedly by surface mapping, soil sampling, and shallow drilling. More exciting, however, is the vein's extension to depth. The drilling campaign report conducted by Japanese geologists in the 1990s estimated that Vein 10's mineralization only extended down to 150 meters. However, Melbury's geologists believed that the Vein 10 mineralization system might be orogenic in nature. During its Phase 1 campaign, the firm drilled a number of deep holes to confirm this fact and improve knowledge of the deposit's structure. This plan has paid off handsomely, literally striking gold. Not only did Melbury's geologist confirm that the vein extends much further down than 150 meters, in some cases, the mineralization actually seemed to become wider and richer as it extended to depth. Melbury's geologists now believe that Project King is likely an orogenic type of deposit. Orogenic deposits coalesce when hot fluids bubble up from deep inside the Earth's crust. Deposits of this type often extend downwards more than 1,000 meters. The implications this has for Project King's mineral resource estimates cannot be understated. Given Vein 10's 2.7-kilometer length and relatively high grade, every meter of extension to depth adds thousands of ounces of gold to the deposit's resource. Only time will tell how large the Vein 10 system is. For now, Melbury is putting no limit on its depth, and the team has an intuition that further major discoveries are likely. The exploration campaign will also have benefits beyond simply increasing Melbury's gold resources in the ground. Because the campaign was executed using JORC-compliant methods, Project King's deposit will be upgraded to a JORC standard. JORC, which stands for Joint Ore Reserves Committee, is one of the most reputable and widely used international standards for reporting mineral reserves to the market and registered exchanges. This means the market will value every ounce of in situ gold in the ground at a greater multiple, adding exponential uplift for Melbury. In other words, upgrading to a JORC-compliant standard increases the value of the gold in the ground and raises the company's market valuation even if no new gold resources are discovered.
The initial startup of Project King has been very good. They've established a gold mine. I think Project King is going through an exciting stage at the moment and will continue to grow as a gold producer and a gold mine in Mongolia.
Since entering the Mongolian gold sector in 2014, Melbury has been able to repeatedly increase its valuation. By progressing rapidly and cost-effectively from the exploration stage through pre-feasibility and feasibility directly to the production stage, the firm has unlocked ever greater value for its shareholders, a mining enterprise chain in an extremely short time. Melbury's valuation increase is more than paper speculation. It holds up to market scrutiny, having been independently verified by several arm's-length equity transactions with new investors. This feat set the firm apart from the crowd. Unlike many foreign investors who entered Mongolia during the boom period and watched their valuations slowly dwindle as commodities slumped and the country entered an economic tailspin, Melbury deployed capital during the market's contraction, acquiring prime assets at fire sale values. Persistence, steady nerves, and hard work have allowed the firm to make progress even during a period when the market was bottoming and competitors were floundering.
I think over the last few years, a lot of companies learned a lot of lessons, and some companies have prospered, some have failed, a lot have gone home. And it's obvious at this point in the cycle who the winners are and who the companies that have learned how to operate in Mongolia, make friends in Mongolia, understand Mongolia, and succeed. And Melbury is one of the very few firms that have survived, like our firm, and set up the base needed for when the recovery comes, in having the contacts and the experience and the people on the ground and the knowledge of the assets to really be a winner in the recovery in the market that's coming.
Mongolia is now finally embracing the gold sector and placing emphasis on its development, having recently reduced the royalty rate and passed other legislation favorable to gold miners. With a revival of the global commodities sector and the stabilization of the Mongolian economic and political landscape, Melbury is now ideally positioned to ride this rapidly recovering market all the way to the top. Negotiations for the acquisition of new brownfield properties similar to Project King are already underway, and Melbury is simultaneously developing its own broader portfolio of gold licenses. Melbury identified an incredible opportunity in the Mongolian gold space more than 5 years ago. Since that time, economic circumstances have converged favorably with the firm's thesis. Acquisition costs have fallen even as the global gold price has risen and local government policies have improved. Persistence and proficiency have allowed Melbury to move from concept to proof of concept and beyond. Melbury has established itself as the most credible foreign investor operating in the Mongolian gold sector, building up a strong local team and powerful local network. Mongolia will replicate the growth path of other gold mining jurisdictions, and Melbury will replicate the model of Project King. With access to international capital and expertise, the firm is ideally positioned to be the key that unlocks the enormous value buried in Mongolia's pristine gold deposits. As Melbury enters the next phase of its consolidation and expansion, success is a simple matter of replication and scale, not speculation.